And we're live here on YouTube. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land. And my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today, my friend?
You know what, Mike? I'm doing well. Doing well. Had a kind of a relaxing day. Had a relaxing day. Was out at the golf course, handing out water and thanking people for their service that came by our the Patriot Outposts today. Out at the John Deere Classic, and then also took my mom out for her birthday dinner, as it's her birthday today.
Nice. Happy birthday to your mom. Yeah.
Mike, so, did you get a chance to blow anything up?
I did. I lit off a few fireworks before we started the show. It was way too bright outside. As you know, up here in this part of the summer, we get almost a full hour extra of light than you guys, and so at 8:30 at night when I'm lighting off fireworks, it's the equivalent of lighting them off in the middle of the day. Like, I'm not kidding. It was bright blue skies. You couldn't tell that it was 8 o'clock at night. Yeah. So, but I'm gonna go do some of that after I get done here too. So, yeah.
All right.
Hey, let's always remember the great words of Florida Apu. What better way to celebrate the birth of your nation than blowing a chunk of it up?
That is right. So, Mike, on this Independence Day, really, we only got two things to talk about, really.
So I might get outside to blow stuff up quicker?
Huh?
So I might get outside to blow up stuff quicker?
Of course.
Yeah.
We have NASCAR. We'll be talking about the Quaker State, recapping the Quaker State 400, which was the Atlanta race last week. And, Mike, we got the Grant Park 165 this Sunday on the streets of Chicago. And, Mike, we'll be talking Chicago Cubs baseball as they wrapped up a really good week this week, and news around the All-Star game. But, Mike, what do we got to do first, buddy?
Well, I mean, we also have to talk about 4th of July things, and we're going to have random topics that we're going to talk about, because I'm sure we will. We always do. But before we do all that, let's go ahead and
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
And we're back. Rich, before we do any of that, you know what we got to do. We got to talk about a poll question.
That's right, Mike. So our poll question this week was our 7-11 matchup, which was swimming and outdoor concerts.
Yeah,
Mike, I admittedly did switch my vote before we went on air, because we did have a tie at the time that we did it. I switched it over to swimming. I'm not much of a swimmer, but I think I'm more than likely, I mean, the outdoor concerts is, in theory, is one of those things like, yeah, that this band's playing at this place, yeah, sure, we'll go, and then we never end up going.
So here's the deal.
Or you go and it's just so hot outside, or it's just so crowded that you're really not having a good time anyway.
Yeah.
Or you're there with a group and you end up talking more than sitting and listening to the music. So.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you, as a parent, the pool is so much different.
I'm sure it is.
Because we go to the pool and, like, I'm watching it. Like, I'm not watching it, but I'm experiencing it as a parent. Watching my kid get independence. Watching my oldest decide that they are big enough to go up the big slide and go down all the way down to the bottom on it by herself. Now, granted, they do have to get caught at the bottom by a lifeguard because their swimming skills are not up to snuff as where I want them to be. We're working on it. My kids are getting much better at it, but we get to do that watching my younger one just decide for himself that it's time to, like, he's gonna go explore and go do things, and letting the kids have some independence, but also, you know, it allows us to sit in that, like, there are times that my wife and I will just sit there, we're watching, like, in a moment's notice, like, I had one of my kids who had a floaty on, who was, fell in the pool and was face down and trying to figure out how to get out of it. And it was, like, again, I'm not gonna, it didn't leave, it was a second. Folks, don't turn me in. I grabbed him, I grabbed the kid by the jacket. They wear life jackets. I grabbed the kid by the life jacket, and the kid was fine. Didn't faze the kid at all. Totally didn't mind. And to see that and to understand that they are learning in that way, that it's okay, and that they're figuring it out, and watching them learning how to swim just because they're there is totally fun. It's well worth the price of admission. And you get to, you know, sit and splash around and hang out with other parents, and everybody's watching everybody's kids together.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, I think I probably learned to swim much later in life than most people did. So I'm just not the most comfortable in the water. I probably know enough to save myself, but not being comfortable in the water. I'm probably not swimming for leisure. It's more swimming as a life-saving measure, not to just go splash around in the pool or jump in the pool for fun.
So you're saying you're not bringing... I
still voted for swimming, though.
You're not bringing your swim trunks when you come up?
No, probably not.
Okay. That might make my wife slightly sad. Because Friday will be my first day off that we'll be home, and so she might want to go to the pool.
And you can.
Yeah, I know.
I will gladly watch you and your kids by sitting on a lawn chair.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
So, Mike, what were our results? We know swimming won because I swapped my vote over to avoid a tie and having to maybe wake Papa Joe up to cast a deciding vote. So what were our poll results?
4 votes for swimming. Me, Ron Williams, Danielle Hart, you all voted for swimming. Those voting for outdoor concert, Pam and AJ Hendricks.
All right. So thank you for everybody for voting on our poll questions. You can find those on Fans of Balls and Sticks over on Facebook, and also Mike and I tend to share the post. This week, Mike, we're going to reveal our number 1 seed in our summer activities. We're going to go with grilling, going up against camping, which won their wild card matchup. Grilling and camping. I will try and get that up tonight.
Okay.
Tonight or tomorrow.
Rich, that's great. Like, I love that one. Rich, do you see what's coming up next?
Is it a left-hand turn?
Yes, it is, Rich. And after that?
Is it another left-hand turn?
It might be, but we also have some rights this week because we're heading into the NASCAR Corner, presented as always by III Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs on 5th Avenue in Moline or on their eBay store. Once again, that is III Sports Cards Incorporated. Rich, last week we were in Atlanta for the Wreckfest 500. Right? That's what the name of it was?
No, it was the Quaker State 400. And it's no longer Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's Echo Park.
Oh, you're right. It's Quaker State because they put Quaker State on the ground, on the concrete, so everybody was slipping and sliding and destroying everything in that race.
Yeah, that was crazy. The big one claimed, I think,
It was more than half the
big one
field.
claimed at least 32 of the 40 cars in the field. It was crazy. Or at least 30, I think like 32 or 28 to 32 cars were involved in the big one and at least had some sort of damage.
I'm trying to bring it up.
So while you're looking that up, Mike, the winner was Chase Elliott, who made a last lap pass to get the win. Mike, your pickup Josh Berry was one of those guys involved in the big one and finished 32nd. My pickup Cole Custer came in 19th, giving me a 10-8 advantage going into the Chicago street race.
Yeah. So, I was trying to get a list of how many cars were involved in the big one. I'm not finding it, but 23 cars. It was 23 cars.
23 of the 40 cars were involved in 23 out of 40 were involved in that wreck.
Yep, 23. And I think by the end of the race, something like 35 different cars had been involved in incidents. So there's 7 people that weren't involved in an incident. Now, an incident could be you bump draft a guy and he spins. And nothing, like he pops his tires, but that's all that happens. That could be the extent of, yeah. So that, not really a big deal. But Chase Elliott wins the race. Rich, how did our picks do?
Your pick of Josh Berry was one of those drivers that got involved in the big one and finished 32nd. My pick of Cole Custer came in 19th. So my strategy of picking a guy that probably had no chance of winning, but you know what, it was a good week with Atlanta to pick a guy that normally runs 25th or worse, and to not burn a use on a driver, since we're trying our best to not pick a driver more than once for our matchup together. I failed in that because I have picked Ross Chastain 2 times.
I may change mine a little bit.
Okay.
My goal might be to get to the playoffs.
Get to the playoffs and then we reset?
Well, if nothing more, we have to pick a playoff driver every week for that.
We do.
So those guys will obviously be like the winners of all of the races are guys that we have picked at some point so far. I think I've used all of the winners except for maybe one at some point already this year.
Yeah, let's do that. We will reset our clock. The playoffs. We will forego our cannot pick a driver more than once.
Now,
unofficial rule.
I might pick a driver that I haven't picked as my secondary driver. Because those guys, there's plenty of those guys left. So, we'll see.
All right, going in the Grant Park 165. This will be the third year for the Chicago street race. There's a chance that the city, this might get renewed by the city for a 4th year, or NASCAR might decide to do a street race somewhere else.
So this is the contract year. This is a contract year, essentially.
Yes.
So if they do it again, NASCAR, the city of Chicago has to sign another contract. We'll see what that looks like. I doubt that that's what's going to happen. I think you're right. I think it's going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I've heard San Diego.
Ooh, Rich, do you know what San Diego means?
St. Diego.
No. It means San Diego. What do you? San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard San Diego getting a street race to get back into Southern California. Now they're no longer doing the Clash out in L.A. and obviously the Auto Club Speedway is still under construction and is not back on the NASCAR circuit. And I've also seen videos saying that they're supposedly going to go back to and bring Chicagoland Speedway back online and take a cup race there.
I would love
keep
that.
things in the Chicagoland area.
That might get me to get to another race with my brother this year or next year, because I was supposed to go there, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out there.
All right, so the Grant Park 165 with I've been saving my road course ringers,
Yeah.
and I'm going to have to go with Shane Van Gisbergen. He won the inaugural race. Yes, he finished dead last in last year's Chicago street race, but it was mostly due to rain conditions that caused him to wreck out. So I'm going to go with SVG.
Yeah, they tend to be very aggressive with putting him on his slicks early because he has better control than a lot of guys, and that was what bit them in the butt last year. That really hurt them. I'm going to pick Ty Gibbs, a sleeper pick, if you will.
You know, I don't mind the Ty Gibbs picks. He's done pretty well on the road courses. And you've also you used what would normally be road course ringers on non-road courses. As I know you used the Dinger. You've used the Dinger, Chase Elliott.
I used Shane Van Gisbergen
Tyler
on
Reddick,
another
you used Shane Van Gisbergen.
But I used him on another street course, like on another road course. Not a street course, a road course.
You did. You did use him on a road course, but you used him earlier in the year.
Yeah, I mean.
So, Mike, as we talked about it, the Atlanta race really wrecked a lot of brackets.
Yeah. So much for.
There's more red than yellow on my bracket.
I haven't checked mine. You did mine, right?
I did.
Okay. I don't even like. What's weird is I go to the bracket challenge and they don't tell me where I am on.
Yeah, no, they don't.
They do NASCAR. This is where you got to be better about this.
Put people in groups. They're not.
Not even just groups. Like, how about you give us like check results?
Worldwide or nationwide. So yeah, I mean.
So I go to mine. I go to my bracket, and okay, there I found it. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 right. I only have 5 right.
Yeah, you had 5 right. As you had Bubba over Suarez, you had Elliott over Dillon, Bell over Ricky, and the Dinger over McDowell, and Gibbs over Haley. Everything else was wrong, but Mike, you're out of your final 4, you've lost 2, as you Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney are not going to make it. But you still have your quarterfinal. You still have your finals matchup, which is Christopher Bell and Ty Gibbs. Myself, Mike.
Yeah.
I got 4 right. 4. And I only have 1 driver in my final 4.
How did I get 61 points?
I have no idea how they did the points.
Oh, I got 21 points for Allmendinger beating McDowell?
Yes, if you picked a lower seeded person, you got more points. So if you picked an upset, you got more points. You could possibly get more points. So I got 4 right, as I had Keselowski over Busch, Reddick over Larson, and Gibbs over Haley. Oh, I also had Chase Elliott. I'm sorry. Yeah, and then I had Elliott over Dillon, so I had 5-2. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's still 4. 4 right. My finals is gone as I lost my champion of my homer pick of Ross Chastain. And then I also lost Buescher, Hamlin, and Chastain in the final 4. But still, it's a fun way. I think Atlanta was a fun way to get it started, as you obviously wouldn't have all the top flight drivers automatically moving on. And you know what? Ty Dillon had an interesting pick to say of, hey, Hamlin fans, I knocked your favorite driver out.
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, so I mean, I think people, I mean, if you had like a second chance bracket and you were picking new people to move on, I mean, would you have thought that you would have had even seen some road course racers not even be in the conversation, but people that are good at road courses? You still have the Dinger, Elliott, Bell, Ty Gibbs still in it. Even Reddick, still being some good road course people in it, so it'll be fun to watch. You can catch the race over on TNT and True TV, where you get more of a bracket challenge centric broadcast over on True TV.
Yeah, Oh, speaking of the NASCAR stuff this week, we do have big news to talk about this week.
Okay.
This is what I thought we should talk about. How about the announcement that came out of Trackhouse Racing?
Yeah, Daniel Suarez and Trackhouse Racing have agreed to part ways. So we don't know where Daniel Suarez will be going.
A driver rarely decides he's going to part ways. It's, hey, we're going to let you go. Do you want to look like you got fired, or do you want to...
Especially this early in the season. No, we're just going to part ways.
Yeah, no, this is not how that works.
Yeah, I mean, with the sponsorship dollars that Chastain and SVG have, I think it's just coming down to Daniel Suarez just hasn't been finishing and doing well enough at the races to maybe keep his ride. And they got Connor Zilich, an Xfinity driver in their program with JGR, and also a guy that comes up and drives the 87 car for select races. I think he'll be in the 99 next year instead.
They went down. Isn't Trackhouse going down to three things? They sold one to Legacy Motorsports.
I hadn't.
I thought that's what happened. Is that they had dropped their they had dropped all of their stuff for the year. I thought they dropped down to 3.
That part. So do you think Daniel Suarez will he get another ride, or will he possibly turn into a Corey LaJoie type of driver that gets random one-off races with a small shop?
We're going to Mexico next year. I don't. That's not a guarantee. Let's start there. It's not a guarantee. But we're going to Mexico next year. This year was such a success. He will have at least a ride for that, if not a permanent ride. I genuinely think he'll get a permanent ride. His gear sells really well. He is real. He's been great. He just not great on the track. He also is running in Trackhouse, where this is where it's hard for me. he actually was bigger than Trackhouse when he went down. When he went to Trackhouse, he was bigger than Trackhouse. Mostly because, again, he was the sole Mexican driver to in the NASCAR series, Cup Series, and because of that, he was huge. And not huge is not necessarily the right word, but you know, it's whatever. He was big. He was not, however, the best. Because of all of that, he went down to Trackhouse, if you will. Whereas now it's like Trackhouse is above him because of the bringing on of Shane Van Gisbergen and the bringing on of Ross Chastain. I forget who their fourth is.
Their fourth is Connor Zilich. Connor Zilich is a part-timer.
Yeah.
They're working. He drives with JGR.
Yeah.
With an agreement with Trackhouse.
So he's one of those that that I 100% could see him, like, I could see Trackhouse, like, Trackhouse feels like they've moved past him. And somewhat they have. Their cars are better and blah, blah, blah. So I think that he deserves to be there longer. But again, the way that they're advertising this as a mutual departure, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel genuine. But who am I?
I mean, maybe he was entering the year on a contract to where maybe it was, we'll pick you up for another year.
Yeah.
And maybe you wanted a little bit more financial security, long-term security, and not wanting the race year to year.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks weird. I think he lands, though. I think he lands on his feet pretty easily. I don't think there's a huge concern for him. In my humble, know-nothing opinion, you know.
Yeah, I think he could. I think he lands somewhere as well. I think. Could have swore I saw something like maybe he lands at RCR, but is really. Then where does Kyle Busch or Austin Dillon go? Because isn't Austin Dillon somewhere in the in the Childress family?
Richard Childress is his grandfather.
Yeah, so you know he's not going, right?
I don't know. Legacy. Kyle Busch could get moved to Legacy Motorsports.
Mm-hmm. Goes back with the Toyota,
but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think there's plenty of year left. There's plenty of time for Daniel Suarez to not just make money or make an impact and win himself a ride, but to really negotiate it out. And being the only driver right now, teams that know they're moving on might be interested a little sooner than later to tie someone up and to get him locked in early. So I would not worry about his prospects. So, okay.
All right. Before we leave the NASCAR corner, because we got a little bit of time today.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and go over to check our fantasy league.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me pull it up real quick.
All right. So Mike, I'm currently in first place with 3166. Mike, you're the man in the middle with 3100, and bringing up the rear, but still on the podium, is the new Dupo with 2671. I think we've lost Solomon on this. I've noticed there's a lot of no picks when I look at his roster during the races to kind of compare who we picked. But pretty close between the two of us, though, Mike. Only 66 points separated.
I mean, he did get 187 points last week.
So maybe
no. He had 45. You're right. He had 45. Sorry. He had 125 2 weeks ago. Last week was a tough week.
It was.
Last week's one of I don't know. He's in the hundreds. He's in the mid hundreds every week. Yeah, I don't think we lost him. I think last week was a bad week for him. So, we'll see.
All right, but that was the NASCAR Corner. The NASCAR Corner is presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois, down on 5th Avenue, and you can also find them on eBay. Mike, let's keep making left-hand turns, but let's go to the baseball diamond. Mike, who the Cubs play week to week?
Rich, this week the Cubs played two in Houston, brought the Guardians in town to sweep them for 3, and beat the Cardinals today, making them 5-1 on the week. Rich, you said 4, I said 4. We were wrong by 1. Rich, you have a note here about a certain record?
They did. They set a club record with 8 homers in a game. Previous high was 7 in one game. You had Michael Busch hit 3, PCA hit 2, and then Swanson, Suzuki, and Carson Kelly had single home run games.
Well, the good news is we're going to a game this week.
We are going to a game this week. We will be in Minnesota for we're either, like, if anything, we're either going to see them win the series, lose the series, or sweep it. Because we're going to the last game of the series.
Or get swept.
Or get swept, yeah. Or yeah.
They could get swept.
We're going to the getaway day game. So
yeah. Day game, Wednesday. We're going to be there. Hopefully, by the way,
Thursday.
Thursday. We are second row, just right of dead center. We should get a home run ball in our area at least. If not,
it'd be really neat if we did. Really neat.
Have you ever gotten a foul ball even?
No.
Yeah, I've never gotten any of it. If I get a home run ball, I'm telling you, I did tell my boss if he gets a home run ball, I'm taking it from him.
Yeah. So we're bringing gloves. We'll probably bring a W. We'll have to find a way to get a W flag, pull it up, and put in just in case. But Mike,
I might wear it as undershorts.
Wear it as a cape.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So, Mike, they will have 2 with the Cardinals here in Chicago to include the ESPN game of the week on Sunday night. 3 with the Twins. We will be at the 3rd game of that series in Minnesota. And, Mike, then they're going to head out to the Bronx to take on the Yankees.
Yeah. Here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
We should get at least 1 from the Cardinals. I'm hoping that we need a broom when we go to Minneapolis. We're going to sweep the Twins. We could pull one. We could pull next Friday off against the Yankees. I'm going to go 5.
All right. I'm going to go 4. I'm not that thrilled with the pitching matchups against St. Louis. Love the pitchers that we're going to get in that Twins series. So I think we will split with the Cardinals. We'll take 2 out of 3 with the Twins. And I'm going to say we get the win with the Yankees. They're kind of scuffling a little bit right now, so I'll go 4. So, Mike, July 4th is normally a good time to look at the standings, but I got a feeling next week's show could be kind of light on content as well, so let's save that for next week. But Mike, All-Star Game starters were announced this week, and 2 Cubbies are going to be in the starting lineup for the All-Star Game.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Pete Crow Armstrong and Kyle Tucker will be in the outfield, and joining them will be hometown starter Ronald Acuna Jr., who was he's been injured. He's been injured this week, but I'm not upset with the pick because you know what? The game's in Atlanta. You got to have a Brave in the starting lineup, with the game being in Atlanta. The other starters for the National League will be Shohei Ohtani as the DH, Manny Machado, man in the hot corner at third base, Francisco Lindor at shortstop, Ketel Marte at second, Freddie Freeman over at first, a former Brave, and Will Smith behind the dish. Mike, who's in that American League starting lineup?
I didn't even pull it up. Yeah, I thought you were reading it. So the American League starting lineup. Sorry, I should have had this ready to go. I failed you, Rich. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Let me get to it. I thought they had a full...
I've got it up. I'll go the rest of
Sorry.
it.
Oh, wait, no, I got it right here.
Okay.
I got it right here. Catcher, Cal Raleigh from the Mariners. First base, you're going to have Vlad Guerrero Jr. from the Blue Jays, Gleyber Torres from the Tigers, Jacob Wilson from the Athletics, Jose Ramirez from the Guardians, and the designated hitter is going to be Ryan O'Hearn from the Orioles. Outfielder Aaron Judge, his 7th election. Man, is he old enough to have 7 elections?
I didn't think he was up that far.
Riley Green and Javi Baez. It's weird to say Javi Baez as an outfielder.
He kind of is. I don't know. I wasn't.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. I think the guy has more brilliance in baseball than anybody ever to play the game. His age is getting there for him, so it makes sense. At some point, your age will catch up to you, and you will have to move around. But the outfield generally is not like you need speed in the outfield. You don't need quickness in the outfield, I guess.
But he does have speed.
He has speed,
I
and so
I was a little bit surprised to see Javier Baez in the finals, let alone elected as a starter. But I guess that's what happened. But with the way that that baseball markets these all-star ballots of vote Tigers,
yeah,
vote Cubs, vote all Cubs,
or vote Javi Baez.
It really does promote the whole ballot stuffing, let alone players on their own social media channels. Talking about get out and vote on their get out and votes. But you know what? I mean, looking at the alternatives, Mike Trout, who's been on and off the injured list, and Stephen Kwan. I think I probably would have put Stephen Kwan in that spot in the outfield instead of Javi Baez. But in all fairness, the guy is having a little bit of a comeback type of season, but he is having a little bit of a comeback season. So I'm not against it. I'm not that too far against it, and really, I think, for me, I think Baez is the only starter where I'm kind of scratching my head on and just sort of chalking it up as a homer pick or ballot stuffing.
Yeah.
But I didn't really think there were too many other alternatives to put in there, to put into the lineup instead of him though either.
Yeah.
Kind of a weak outfield out there in the American League. But I'm glad to see that Pete Crow Armstrong and Kyle Tucker are going to be starters. It's So, Mike, that begs the question. We'll discuss when the full All-Star rosters are named, as far as who we thought got snubbed and who we thought was, or maybe some surprise additions to the team. Who do you think, without knowing who the reserves will be, as the reserves are selected by a combination of the media, the players themselves, and the managers, who do you think, what other Cubs do you think will be going to Atlanta with PCA and Tucker?
Am I crazy to say? Yeah, I am. I think Shota goes, right?
For me, Mike, I think the two guys. It's a crowded DH. If you're only going by how many DHs you take.
Yeah.
But I think I would go Seiya Suzuki. He is leading the National League in RBIs, so I think he deserves to go. But instead of Shota, if Shota hadn't gotten injured, I'd say Shota. But I think a Cub that deserves to go there would be Matthew Boyd.
Yeah.
He's had a good year.
Yeah, he
as
has.
Underrated kind of signing. We were kind of scratching our head on him.
I would also argue, and maybe it's just, this is one of those that I will probably get pushback on, and I will take it. Ian Happ. Now, again, maybe not the flashiest of picks, but he's a solid player. I don't know.
It's a crowded outfield.
It is a
crowded
true.
outfield to get on as a reserve.
But I think
an outfield.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. I don't know if Ian Hype's got the stats this year.
No.
He's been our All-Star rep a couple of years when you've had those lean years.
And maybe that's why I think that he is.
And I think only because there aren't many. It's a pretty shallow end because of injuries or just down years. But maybe Michael Busch getting the call over at first base.
Yeah, I was just thinking about him.
Or maybe even I think the third guy I could see would be Nico Horner.
Yeah,
because there aren't many standout. There aren't many any other second baseman in the National League really having a standout year.
And again, his stat line reads. I hate baseball right now. I love baseball, but I hate baseball. We're talking Nico Horner, who's an everyday starter, hitting a 281 average. That's from when we were kids, that would have been mediocre.
That's darn near both. 281. He's in the lead for the batting title.
Right. I'm looking at Pete Crow Armstrong. Pete Crow Armstrong has a 274. This is the problem I have right now. That when you look at I don't get it. This is where I have problems with baseball. Is that that when you look at the stats that mattered when we were kids, batting average doesn't matter anymore, and that's a problem.
they want to see the ball hit hard and elevated to get home runs.
Yeah.
So a guy like Nico Horner, he didn't get his first home run until I think like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's up to 3 now.
Yeah.
But he plays Gold Glove defense at second base. He gets on base.
He does, and
He moves the runner.
as a second baseman, I think he deserves to be there. I wish baseball wasn't doing what it's doing to itself and trying to be the long ball or nothing. And I don't know that there's a good way to save it, but anyway, Rich, overall, not just Cubs, but who do you think? Do you think anybody got snubbed out of the starters?
As a starter, no. The only thing I wish I would have rather seen is that obviously if Rafael Devers hadn't been traded to the Giants, I think he would have been the American League DH. So the only thing that I can think of is that that there was. Oh man, can we put somebody else? Can we have somebody else be the starter as the American League DH? Because Ryan O'Hearn, I don't think, is really having the best, the greatest season.
What bothers me is that they don't show you. Oh, they do show you runners up. Okay.
Yeah, the runners up, because now the way that they do the voting is that you have the first round where you have everybody's starter, or you could do a write-in person, and then now you take the top 2 and those 2 face off, and those are the 2 that go up for
Ben Rice,
the candidate. But Ben Rice for the Yankees, that's not really doesn't move
No.
the needle for me. So for me, I think if I could have voted in one of, I would have rather seen like Bobby Witt Jr. of the Royals get the DH spot instead, or even having one of the, maybe have a legacy pick of Mike Trout and get the start over Ryan O'Hearn.
So I'm just again right now. So Kyle Schwarber is in 5th place of the home run. As theoretically, he could be a good designated hitter.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have been a better designated hitter.
But he's in the National
Oh wait,
League.
why did it go to National? I just had it on American.
I mean, the National League is stacked.
Oh yeah,
There was no, with a global. I think even if you only counted votes from within the United States, I think Shohei still would have won. Still would have been the starter as the DH.
Let me come up here real quick. Hang on. I got. Let me look at this real quick. Okay. Yup. Junior Caminero.
He's having a nice year down in Tampa.
He could. Why not make him your DH on the National League? I mean, honestly, he's got 21 home runs on the year. If again, your designated hitter, all you need him to do is hit home runs, right? Isn't that kind of the concept?
Mm-hmm.
So what wouldn't he make sense? Taylor Ward, maybe.
it's been
Byron Buxton.
Buxton would have been a good candidate.
Brandon Lowe out of Tampa Bay, another decent candidate.
But if they're listed as, like Brandon Lowe, he's a second baseman on the ballot, but not listed as
Why
a
couldn't?
DH.
See, there I have a problem. Anybody should be allowed to be a DH. Because anybody can be a DH. Like,
Anybody can, yeah.
Just because somebody somebody plays every day as a second baseman doesn't mean they can't be a good DH. Like, it just means that they maybe they're going to deserve a Gold Glove at the end of the year. Like, all of these guys, like, I think the DH should just be everybody. Pick who you want. Like, that makes no sense to me. Now, if it were me, see, and this is the one this is where I would go with it. And again, I'm slightly surprised because they do have a decent fan following. A guy I would never pick. On a team I will never support. Jeremy Pena. A .322 batting average. Why wouldn't he be a great candidate to be your DH? Because he only has 11 home runs?
Yeah, I can agree with that being a little bit of a flaw with the All-Star balloting. I mean, that it was the same way for many years before there was a universal DH. You didn't get to vote for a DH in the National League. That was decided by the manager of that team.
You got to pick.
But over on the American League side, you didn't get to pick an extra batter.
Yeah.
An extra batter from one of the other positions. And in the American League, it was either David Ortiz or that was your main DH that was your main guy you were going to vote in the American League for many, 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 many years, because David Ortiz is the best DH, really good DH. But were there other hitters that you could have voted that you would have rather voted in besides Big Papi? Yeah.
Okay, Rich. Just because I'm now looking at stats. In all of the major leagues, how many guys do you think has above a 300 batting average right now? 4th of July, 2025.
I'm going to go 20.
No.
How many?
10.
That's it.
Aaron Judge. We're going to go through them. We're going to go through them right now, because why not? Because there's only 10 names here that I got to read.
Okay.
Aaron Judge, Jacob Wilson, Will Smith, Jeremy Pena, Jonathan Aranda, Freddie Freeman, Michael Garcia, Alejandro Kirk, Jake Myers, and Josh Naylor.
Okay, so who would be the batting champion in each league, and what is their batting average as of July 4th?
So in the American League, it would be Aaron Judge. In the National League, it would be Will Smith.
And what are their batting averages?
So one of them I actually think is a great batting average. This is a batting average I think you can be proud of. 365.
Yeah, I would not be upset or scratching my head if 365 won the batting title. And I'm assuming that's Aaron Judge.
That is Aaron Judge.
Okay, the American League, who would be the batting champion?
No, Aaron Judge is in the American League.
Yeah, okay, the National League, I'm sorry.
National League. Will Smith with a 324. That doesn't deserve a batting title.
That doesn't scream batting titles to me.
That does not deserve a batting title. Freddie Freeman with a 312. There are only 3 guys in the National League above 300, and one of them is Josh Naylor at a 303.
That used to be a staple of a lot of people in the league when we were growing up, is that you took that as a badge of honor that you were hitting over 300.
You don't even have 10 guys in the National League that have above 300 or above 290. Yeah. You have 9 guys above 290 in the American or in the National League. In the American League, wow. Wow.
Well, Mike, look at it this way, Mike. Would you have thought that last year, the batting champion had a 314 batting average?
In the National League?
In the National League last year, Luis Ariz, who split between the Marlins and the Padres, your batting champion in the American League last year was 332 by Bobby Witt Jr.
How does Vlad Guerrero Jr. go to family barbecue tonight with a 323 batting average and say, Dad, look, I'm great? Oh, no, that was last year. Where's he at this year? Is he even in? He's got a 274 today. He's sitting at a
274. I think 274 is about right.
Yeah, but his dad wouldn't have put up with that. Like, this is the problem that I have. Under 260 though. Under 260. We're like 25 guys. You only have the top 25 are above 260. Or 270. I'm sorry, 270. Like, that's almost embarrassing. Back in the day, 270 was where you started to worry about whether a guy was doing all right. And nowadays, it's nothing. Okay, Rich, we have spent the time on this show. We've talked our way to 58 minutes. Let's get into what our quick hits. As we had, it's 4th of July. You know what that means, Rich?
Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest.
Gotta have a hot dog. And if you're Joey Chestnut, you gotta eat 70 1/2 hot dogs to win the hot dog eating contest.
Yes, the mustard belt. The mustard belt. He came back to the Nathan's hot dog contest this year after taking last year off, I think due to contract language.
So he had been endorsed by, or he had been sponsored by a vegan hot dog company and was gonna wear their logo, and Nathan says you're not allowed to wear that logo here. You're just not allowed to do it. Get out of here. And he was like, well, okay, I'm not gonna do it. So that's why they did it on Netflix last year.
70 1/2 hot dogs. Second place, 46. That's a big gap.
By the way, how about the fact that the female competitor, now I gotta look this up.
Yeah, you said well, we were filling in our outline that the female competitor ate 43 hot dogs.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up because I really want to look at this real quick. See if I can find the full slate of who did what and blah blah blah. Oh, no, so what I had was wrong. It's 33 hot dogs. That's a little bit better. Or that's a little bit closer than I thought. No, wait. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know. The internet's so broken anymore. Yeah. So, 33 hot dogs is what the top female competitor did. So there you go. Rich, it's that time of the show. Should we sing it? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, America. Happy birthday to you. Oh, wait. You have a more important one. Go ahead.
Yeah, and my mom. Yeah, it is her birthday. She they went out to Fulton today to watch fireworks for her birthday.
Yep.
And I think they went out to Red, White, and Boom last night.
She
The
always
Bandits
gets
game.
fireworks.
Yeah, the Bandits game the night before that. And and I think we might have talked them into going out to either Buffalo. I think they're going to go to do Buffalo Days or Coal Valley on Saturday. So
fun.
She loves her fireworks, so she always goes out and sees them. And for the longest time growing up, they out with her parents always said, "Yeah, the fireworks are for your birthday."
Yeah.
Not for America's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom! And I think she had a good time with the firecracker run this year too.
Nice.
So I think it was
and
hour and 20 minutes was her walk time for that.
By the way, we didn't even talk about the other thing this week. Rich, how did you not have it on the outline?
What was that?
The John Deere Classic. You're a man on the street. You were there. You didn't give us an update.
I don't know. I guess I'm not much of a golf guy. You know, I'm there. I'm there to support the veterans that come to watch the Classic. Hand out some snacks, shake some hands, swap some war stories, hand them water, keep them hydrated.
Okay.
Not really there to watch the golf too much.
Okay.
I'm there to serve those who served by giving them some free water, snacks, and busting their tables so they don't have to get up and take something to the trash can.
I mean, I get it, but I'm just saying, man. It's John Deere Classic. We forgot to pick a winner last week, so I think it's a little late for us to pick a winner going into because cuts have happened. So good luck to all those going out there. Stay hydrated, folks. It's hot. I don't know how it's supposed to be down there. It's supposed to rain tomorrow up here, and it's been hot all week. Stay hydrated. With that, Rich, people are watching us on YouTube. Eventually, I'm going to make it so they can do it another way. What is that other way to participate or to enjoy the show?
Look us up wherever you download all your favorite podcasts.
Yep.
You can find us on any of the podcast platforms: Google, Apple, Spotify, just to name a few. Mike, if they're in podcast land, obviously they can catch us over here on YouTube. Mike, where can they find our weekly poll questions? And what is our poll question this week?
Weekly poll questions are on Facebook.com/Balls&Sticks. Facebook.com/Fans of Balls and Sticks. Rich's page or my page. This week we are doing our number 1 grilling versus number 11 camping.
Yeah, and Mike, we will be live and in studio together, as I'll be in your neck of the woods next week when we record. But until then, we'll see you next week. So, Mike,
don't forget to keep all your digits. Keep all your digits, folks. What was that, Rich?
Yeah, Go ahead and roll that outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.